In the last couple previous lessons, we really have gone from color correcting and filming and techniques along those lines about using the effects to actually getting a completed product done, and specifically related to preparing materials for you to go pitch these your particular products, including being able to burn the 3D Blu-ray without having to go to an outside house using Cyberlink, how to create a movie poster that you can put into a frame and then on the easel for your presentations. And then a lot of people have come up to us and asked who did our artwork and our Blu-ray cover artwork. We actually do all that in-house. We're going to show you the program that we use. Once again, it's not a high-end product, but it's something that you can go to a pitch meeting about your products and show people that you're actually serious. If you walk in with a completed Blu-ray that's ready to burn, whether 2D, 3D, with the movie poster on an easel, with a Blu-ray preliminary done with the wrapper around it, that helps set the tone for the meeting regarding your projects. It also creates a sense of professionalism regarding what you're trying to do, that you're just not some guy coming off the street, has no plan in place, and all they want to do is talk. I'm going to go into a product called Nero Cover Designer. It's right here. You can get it at Nero.com, Nero.com. I believe it's free. It does come part of the Nero 12 pack, and when I downloaded the upgrade, that wasn't included. I went to the website, and they had a download link to be able to download the product, and this is something that we've used for quite a long time. Just click in here, and what happens is that it has audio data and then video. And on video, you can pick a DVD or a Blu-ray disc case, all sorts of pre-programmed stuff for you already. I'll just pick the blue disc case. And there's two ways to really start your artwork. So the first thing is they have a BD booklet. I'm down here. That's the insert. A BD inlay is really the wrapper that's going to go around your Blu-ray case. And then they have a disc one, which would be your label. You can come along here and do something like, I want to do a new cover from a picture, and I can click in here and I'll bring in this particular picture, and it's going to ask what case I want it for. We'll pick the BD case again and click. And what this does is it tries to create a common theme across all three items using the same picture. So that's one of the ways to do it. We'll just start a new one at this point. Let's do a BD case again. A second way to do it is you can come along to this little image tool right here and actually click on it, and I'll bring that picture in again. I can click where I want it, and what it does is that brings in that individual picture, but it only brings it in to the one thing that we're working on. Of course, they have zoom in and zoom out tools, so I'm going to zoom out here real quickly by just pressing on the hourglass, and then you can grab these handles and shrink it down to make that picture. The entire thing was not in there, and I can grab these and move it around if I want my wife Susan completely in the entire picture. I move it until it actually covers the entire item, and then I can move along to, let's say, the BD inlay, which is the wrapper that really goes around the Blu-ray case. And once again, I can come in and pick a picture. I'll just pick something randomly, and I can move it around. I don't particularly like this picture. But what also happens is that I could take, theoretically, and all this is just an example, I could take this picture, bring it in. Let's say I want more than one picture here. I could place it right there, stretch it out. And then I can bring in another picture, and we'll just pick something randomly. Click to where I want it, zoom in so I can grab my handles, shrink this picture down, and I think you're all getting a hint of what we're kind of doing here, is that we are being able to use more than one picture on the Blu-ray cover. And you can take this data, manipulate it, or do, once again, we'll zoom a little out again. Yeah, I didn't think it was right. So we'll take this, shrink it down again. I can bring it over here. And at this point then, if I move it all the way up, I'm going to wind up covering the other picture. But what's kind of cool, you can right click here and say arrange and say put it on the bottom. So you can define which picture how the overlays are going to happen. So we can see that this is outlining the picture, but this picture is actually overlaying on top because I sent that picture to the bottom. And if I move it up, then it goes up. Now, what this means is that I can move it to the bottom or move up or move to the top, which theoretically you could have 4 or 5 different pictures in there, which you can wind up arranging. It also has a full ability to bring in text, to do lassos, to do elliptical shapes, etc., which are in there. So why don't we go along and I'm going to pull up a relatively completed template, which we have, one of our Blu-ray covers, which will show you some of the type of sophisticated things that you're able to do with this program. So I'm bringing up the cover to 3D Coral Reef Aquarium. I'm going to zoom this out a little. And let me go through all 3. Once again, I'm going to zoom it out, which is actually the plus to make it bigger. And I'll go to my disk. I'll do the same thing. So to get an idea of what you can actually wind up doing with this program, and it maybe takes 2 or 3 hours to actually design these, but when you go to a meeting or you want to have something around your case, the presentation, it's a lot better to present something which is going to have a wrapper around it versus just a Blu-ray case that has nothing on it. So on here, what happens is I can take my artwork and move it up and down, but you can create text boxes, and in these text boxes then define how you want this text. And then of course to modify, you just double click on it, brings it up. You can define the type of font you want, the size of that particular text, whether it's bolded, all these different text colors. They have a somewhat limited text colors in this program. This allows you, and I wanted you to see the type of things that you can do with this program. And I encourage you that if you're not doing Blu-ray wrappers, that once again, that you go out and get a program, which this one is actually at the Nero website. I downloaded it, and you can start creating these text boxes using these tools and go out on the web. All this artwork for these 3D symbols here, I just found those out on the web. I just went to Google and did a search for 3D Blu-ray symbol, and it brought it up, and I just copied the pictures, and then I wind up using them, and I use that little picture command to bring it in, and then I shrink it down to the size that I want. We're giving you some examples in here about how to present, or the capabilities are out there to be able to go find these programs to be able to present your products with the best foot moving forward. This is actually an insert. A lot of times in the Blu-rays you have inserts. You can wind up including one of those. What I do is, because I print these out on regular paper on my color printer, and then I have a cutter board that I wind up cutting them down, I buy the Blu-ray cases that actually have an outside plastic cover on them that I just insert these right between the Blu-ray case and the kind of plastic shield cover that's on there, and it snugly fits in there and it works. And then I use this program to also to print out my label. So if I'm in here and I go file paper stocks, there's all different sorts of paper stocks that you can wind up printing in here and picking to make sure that you're actually printing this stuff correctly. When you wind up getting to that point to print, as long as you have the proper label, it'll wind up printing it out. Cool about this, you can do elliptical text on here. You can bring it around the Blu-ray. I mean, basically it's an unlimited amount of stuff that you can wind up doing, including what you want on that wrapper. And it's very important that you do this wrapper correctly, because that's what people are going to pick up and see, especially if you have a booth in a show. You want to come across that you actually have a completed product. And this is the way to once again show people that you're serious about what you're doing. Now, this artwork can also go to the printer when the Blu-rays are being manufactured. If you want to do this stuff in-house, you wind up sending this to the printer, and they actually use this type of artwork to burn that right onto the Blu-ray to print it. No one does sticky peely stuff, but for your one-offs or to send them out to family and friends, or you're doing a pitch, you may just want to get a label and put it on the Blu-ray. You don't want to hand something to someone, especially if you haven't gone to production yet, which is just a blank top to your Blu-ray. I mean, that's not really the really proper way to come across. I think you really want to come across as being professionals. And I know that once you get used to this program, you can actually wind up coming in and designing all of this material in less than 2 hours. And you'll feel so good when you get it done. You print it out, you put this wrapper, put this Blu-ray wrapper between the plastic cover and the Blu-ray case, and you put it on and you go, wow. We're just giving you little hints. Go to the Nero Cover Designer. They have lots of stuff for Blu-rays and DVDs. It's a relatively easy program to use. You can get up to speed on it pretty quickly. You may have to fiddle with it for about 2 hours, but then you'll be off and running.